Today, I'm going to talk about LinkedIn thought leader ads, why they are the best performing ad unit on LinkedIn by far, and how you can use them to drive conversions, not just awareness. So everyone is kind of complaining about how their LinkedIn organic reach has tanked. People that used to hit, 10K impressions now struggle to hit 800. It's obvious why LinkedIn is doing that. I mean, like the organic reach was kind of excessive and relative to other channels, and they're doing this to push you towards ads so they can make money. Zero interest rate period is over. They want you to boost the post. They want you to run sponsored content. They want to pay you to get reach. And the problem is that most of these ad formats on LinkedIn don't really, frankly, work that well unless you're an established brand with like significant budget. However, there's one that does, which is thought leader ads, and I'll tell you about it, and I'll tell you about how it's good not just to get engagement and reach, but to get kind of conversions on your website as well. And I'll use kind of exact examples. All right, so this one campaign that we ran last year, thought leader ads drove 59% of the overall conversions, and it was a kind of full stack campaign. It's not like we were just only running thought leader ads at $70 per conversion for like enterprise decision makers. It's for a kind of premium B2B creative agency selling into like major tech companies. Relatively modest budget. So 21K of LinkedIn spend across 7 months. Granted, they had been advertising before, but this is kind of the snapshot I'm giving you, into 414K in total pipeline, with thought leader ads doing most of the heavy lifting, although it's by no means the majority of the ad spend. Why this works is that, buyers, they don't trust companies as much as they trust people. Not that they trust people, but they trust people more. And most, LinkedIn ads look like ads. So CTRs are, like most interruptive advertising in like 0.4 to 0.7% range is kind of normal for normal LinkedIn ads. I mean, you kind of just look at what it looks like, right? I mean, this is like a relatively nicely executed ad, clear value proposition, but it's got the company logo. It clearly is an advertisement. So compared to thought leader ads, you're going to get lower click-through rates and higher CPCs. It's just kind of how it is, even if everything is executed perfectly from a technical perspective. Now let's look at a thought leader ad. I'm going to use my own so that I don't have to share client examples. So it's, sponsored from a personal profile. I'm not going to claim this is like the best ad ever, but it's from a first person voice with stating an opinion. I'm saying, most paid media benchmarks online are useless. They don't give you any context. It's like a perspective similar to what you would see in an organic LinkedIn post that would do well. So you're going to see from this kind of post much higher CTRs and lower CPCs. I did promote this, and I was getting CTRs well above 1%, which you would trending towards 2, which you would never see in a normal LinkedIn ad. And I've been known on thought leader ads for my own thought leader ads to hit, when I get it right, I get close to 9% click-through rates. All right, so let's go into the case. We've got this creative agency. It's their post kind of product or service market fit. They know who they really want to get in front of. They have Google Ads handling demand capture at the very bottom of the funnel, but they want to, and of course they can do kind of manual outreach, but they also want to generate demand at these kind of top tier tech companies and reach the full, buying committee, not just like kind of the marketers that they would usually reach out to. So the overall account structure is 4 campaign layers, just above 21K in total spend. You'll notice thought leader ads is only the second line item. We have regular kind of cold traffic ads representing a bit more of the budget, right? Thought leader ads around 30% of the budget. And the understanding with all of this, right, was that like cold traffic and thought leader ads mostly not going to drive conversions. We were thinking remarketing would drive the bulk of the conversions, and the TLAs and the normal ads would just kind of warm people up. You did have some document ads in the ABM campaign that were really kind of intended to more like kind of get downloads for thought leadership content, kind of get the voice of the company out. But that wasn't really the focus of that kind of like budget pool at all. All right, so despite our expectations, thought leader ads ended up delivering 59% of conversions on 30% of the budget, which is insane, right? And those conversions are coming through. They're website conversions, so they're not LinkedIn lead gen forms, which is much more valuable. Lead gen forms, oftentimes because they're auto-filled, people don't even remember filling them out. When someone fills out a form on your website, they get exposed to more of your branded assets. They get pushed off LinkedIn, and they have to actually do some work to fill out the form. $70 each, lowest cost per conversion across every campaign type, including remarketing. Even if you include the leads that were being driven by the document ads, it's still 53% of conversions and leads from thought leader ads, which is crazy. All right. So just to show that I'm not just like making stuff up, here's the time range from January through July. Thought leader ads, 90 conversions. 90 conversions. 82 of them are click conversions. So these aren't like these nonsense view conversions where people just, oh, they saw the ad and then they converted like 5 days later and LinkedIn claims attribution. No, this is like they clicked the ad or engaged in some way with a mouse. Really crazy. Why? Right? Buyers click on people more often than they'll click on logos. It's a higher trust signal. It's a first person post from like kind of a real practitioner stating an opinion, not just explicitly, not just only promotion. So it's perceived differently. It's the fact that they get more engagement means that LinkedIn's algorithm is going to serve it more often and give you lower CPMs, which compounds. I mean, it's cheaper distribution. And it's also, a less, maybe this is changing, but it's a less crowded inventory type. Massive companies with 50,000 employees are not running thought leader ads in most cases, right? Because it's complicated to get the person to consent. So this gives, smaller companies that are still founder led really an advantage. And the third thing is it reaches non-marketers, other people in the buying committee who, might not ignore a branded ad. As a marketer, like I will engage with ads if I think they're good, but people that are not marketers, less likely to. When you're really trying to reach people besides just marketing leadership, other people that can influence the decision, they're more likely to kind of get engagement. So 7 months, so a little over 21K in, generates 414K, more than 414K in pipeline, 171 conversions and leads. We also got 18 people submitting lead gen forms. Across all campaigns, $125 cost per conversion or lead, but $70 from the thought leader ads. Still, as a blended account, it's great. 19x pipeline to spend based on CRM data. What's worth noting, right, is that 65% of this pipeline comes in months 6 and 7. So we have this pop in January and February. It's kind of slow for a few months, and then boom, explosion of pipeline added. This is because it takes time with interruptive advertising. It takes time to compound. It takes time for people to get into the buying cycle, and also it takes time to trust you. So it really pays to get in front of people over and over again for months on LinkedIn. This is why I increasingly, if people are just looking for quick results, I steer them away from LinkedIn because you really reap the results kind of in over at least a 6-month period. Patience matters. I'm not going to say this is like a magic format. It works when the face of the ad has kind of some credibility in the niche and the post has a point of view. If you're just stating generic, not nonsense, but just generic stuff, and it reads like an ad or just like not a real, like it's not really a real post, right? It's not going to get the same degree of traction. It will get the cheaper distribution at first because again, it's a less crowded channel, but you're not going to see the numbers that I've just been talking about here if you have no point of view. Ideally, it's going to work better also if you already have a LinkedIn presence. It's going to work better if you have a tight ABM, account-based marketing list, and you're not just targeting generic categories that are in the LinkedIn, that are built into LinkedIn. It also works better when you're, cycling in new content and you have like a program basically, right? I mean, ideally, your designated thought leaders are posting on LinkedIn, a couple times a week, and you're pulling the ones that perform the best organically into the campaign manager, not just doing it as only for the purposes of advertising. It also works best when there's a remarketing layer to kind of capture engaged accounts. So even though the bulk of our conversions came from thought leader ads, we still got quite a few from remarketing. So you don't want to sleep on that either. It also doesn't work when the budget is too small to kind of maintain frequency. I'll go into this in another video, but basically you need to minimum get in front of the accounts 3 times per month that you're serving to. So if you see in that kind of like frequency bar, like, 1 or 2, so people are seeing your ad like once a month, it's not going to do anything. You either need to reduce the size of your audience or you need to increase the budget. So to summarize, if you're running, LinkedIn ads or for B2B ABM thought leader ads, they're not optional. So 30% of spend, almost 60% of the conversions on an account that, look, our regular LinkedIn ads were good. I mean, they would be positive ROAS like without the thought leader ads, but it just makes it so much more effective. If this is the kind of analysis you want in your own campaigns, I have a link below where you can check out kind of what Osric Digital does and how you can talk to us. We're happy to just give you our thoughts on your current account structure. No obligation. You can also subscribe for more kind of breakdowns like this. I'm going to be doing this pretty much every business day. All right, that's it for now. Thanks.